Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There's a notifications bell down at the corner that will allow you to get notified as to when I go live. And I want to start out first by thanking Kate for these. This is a big deal. Okay, this is a fentanyl test strip. These are a kit of 50, and these save lives. Absolutely save lives. And we're finding that through our data also that this is having these and handing these out is sparking internal dialogue among the people in active addiction, and it is fueling people to go to treatment. And I think that that's really amazing. And I think that even if that was not the case, the fact that we are saving lives is definitely worth it. So this is a big deal. Thank you, Kate. We appreciate it. And these will be given out on Sunday. So I'm going to start talking about this is that time of year. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is it's starting to get colder. You know, as it gets colder, if you are outdoors, it becomes harder and harder to maintain. And, you know, we talk about cold or flu season, and the impact that that has on that population is huge. Um, Hi, CBT. Hi, Karen. Oh, hi, Dr. Nina. So the impact is huge. And when it gets cold and people start getting sick, what happens is we start running down in supplies. People, they're not able to wash their things. So blankets have to be replaced. Can you imagine throwing up and not having a blanket? Like waking up and having the flu, and then all of a sudden everything's gone and you can't stay warm. Those kind of things are things that I think that a lot of us, we're very blessed to not have to worry about and to not think about. But as it gets chillier, it becomes really important to have warmy stuff out there, which is blankets, coats, sweaters, socks. Those things are really important. And this week and for a while now, I've been struggling a little bit because I've been ill, and I had to come to the realization yesterday after, I had like 3 meetings. And so I had to come to the realization yesterday that there is such a high level of need. And sometimes that is so overwhelming. I can't be everywhere at once. I can't be everyone, and I can't be everything. And that's why it's so important for communities to work together and support each other in these missions. So what I'm going to talk about is when I'm having a day where I just can't get with it, and my brain's not working to research, and I'm just going through it. This is what I do. I have a wonderful, wonderful friend named Laura who runs Seattle Dogs Homeless Program, and she gets bits of fleece. And I'm going to kind of show you and take you through what I do and what we can do, those of us. And I understand those of you with arthritis, me too, and it, only do what you can do. There's a lot of activities that, like, if your hands hurt, things like that, there are other things to do. Karen, too bad Army surplus just gave them sleeping bags. Yeah, and that's not everywhere. There's, many, many people have to, search for them, drag things out of the garbage. It's, we need to provide things for our neighbors. And that's the same thing as when, I noticed that couple that was up in the cul-de-sac. I immediately contacted people, and Brad, after their outrage, ran 2 sleeping bags, some socks, and everything else up. It's a whole community full of people caring. So we get these fleece, and what I do, ta-da, is I put 2 parts of them together. You put the backs together. Then you got 2 pieces of equal cloth, right? Then really simply, you get a good pair of scissors, and do not use kitchen shears because you're just going to get a blister on your hand and it's going to hurt. I was very lucky that I went down to the manager's office and was like, "Hey, can I borrow some scissors?" And actually, one of my neighbors had a sharp pair and dropped it off at my door. So I was able to do this easily without hurting myself. So a good sharp pair of scissors. Then what you do is you just cut the corners here. Like each corner, you cut a square, right? Pretty simple. See, cut square, bam. So you got a bunch of squares. And then after that, it's pretty simple because in between those squares, when you have those squares, okay, and for some reason this does not want to open, even though I had everything ready. In those squares, what you're going to do, see, here's where the square was, right? The square was here, or down, like that. There's the square, the square that was taken out. And then after that, you just cut into strips like this. You fringe it, both sides. You just, go on down the line. And then you have this. So it's all fringed and ready to go. And then you just start tying it, double knot it all the way around, and you will have a blanket. And these ones are for the puppies and the little dogs so that when they're out there, a lot of people have these really little dogs like chihuahuas, things like that. And those dogs, all the dogs get cold, but especially those, it's important to give them little things to keep them warm. And we can also do this for human beings. I just want people, yes, these things are, I can't impress enough how important it is. And if you look at my Amazon wish list, there are disaster blankets, and I also have moving blankets on there. And the reason I do is price wise, I think it was actually a little cheaper. And I was given one time, and it was like the best warmy blanket I had. Like it was really good. Um, but I do have things like that on the list. But I also just want to point out something that I remember one time I was given in a donated bag of clothes a Snuggie. And I knew it was going to be so hard to, keep clean. But as far as it didn't just provide warmth, it was comfort. It was having something in that environment that was harsh and hard and cold and dirty to just feel something soft and clean and warm. And so when you are handing things out, don't think, that like stuff like this isn't needed, because it is, and it's comforting to have. So Nicolette, hope I'm doing great. I am. I'm starting to do better. Now that I'm on the antibiotics, I'm coming up out of it. Still, going through it a little bit, but today I'm just working on this because all I can do is stay inside because I did go out for a little bit today, but for the most part, it's I go through periods of isolation a little bit, and I'm okay with that. So I just do other things. Um, CBT. Yes, all dogs are cold, no matter how thick their coats are. Yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of people, there's humans out there, there's dogs out there, there's cats out there, and that the life of being out there is life threatening. Almost on a daily, it's life threatening. So just show some compassion and know that it's that time of year again and it's getting chillier. And if you're having to throw a sweatshirt on, other people probably want to throw a sweatshirt on too, and they may not have one. So, if everybody likes a comfy sweatshirt. Don't worry about if it's used or not. So, pretty much, if anybody has any questions, ask some questions. I just kind of wanted to share with you guys what I do when I'm inside and like not, able to like, put my mind to full use. There are ways to work with that as well and still, feel like I'm making a difference. So, Um, Anybody questions? Anything? Okay. Well, if you go in the descriptions link, of course, there's always my PayPal there. There is also the Amazon wish list. If you go through there, you will see again, my personal stuff is on, there's only one thing I think that's personal that's on highest priority, and that's Rowan's dog food, because stuff for Rowan is always highest for me because she's amazing. But outreach is always the highest, personal is the lowest. So check out the outreach products. I'm telling you, we can definitely use them. It's getting cold. We want to get people taken care of, because we would want that in that situation too. And I needed that in that situation. I needed somebody that was caring and compassionate and lovely and loving. And so often I was shown that in so many ways. So I want to be that person and inspire others to be that person too. um, Hi, Blair. How's school going? I forgot you guys are in school now. Army sleeping bags go down to 30, 40 below, and they zip up over their heads and close in their face. Nothing's exposed. Yes, exactly. Yeah, those are great. How did I survive the cold winters? Well, okay. Number one, Seattle doesn't get like deathly cold. Like, well, hold the phone. If you are prepared enough, and that's one thing that I have to say is in my journey, the street kids that I camped with, my son included, made sure that, they made sure I had a sleeping bag. They recycled an old tent so I had a place to sleep. When they found out that my hips were hurting really bad and my arthritis was acting up, they made sure to get like little pads and things. I remember not being able to make it out. When there was an outreach coming with blankets and stuff and I couldn't make it out and I didn't know they were there and I came running out to see if, because I wanted a blanket, and Hyena had snagged this beautiful comforter. Like, sorry, she had snagged this just beautiful, beautiful, like warm, snuggly comforter. And she ran it over to me and she's like, Mom, I got you a comforter. I got you a blanket. And I'm crying because that was such a big deal. Because I was cold. And the cold hurts so bad. And under a bridge is hard, even though it looks like, soft packed dirt. It's hard and it hurts. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Oh, um, so I stayed warm thanks to the efforts of people who were in the same situation as me and found value and worth in me and found their way to show me kindness and love. So that's how I survived the winters. Um, After we got swept from East Lake, even then, one of my kids drug a mattress up that she had found that was in great condition. So I had a mattress. um, what I would do is I got this like mattress cover thing I had found, and I would put that down, and then during the daytime, I would cover my whole bed with like this one blanket so that all the dust and dirt would fall onto that. So that when I went to sleep, I just roll that back really gently so that my stuff was all clean. But that was like the hardest thing. That's why I'm really grateful for like cleaning now too, is and my bed. There's I don't know if there is a night that I don't climb into bed and just think about how grateful I am to have one. and have a good one. So, whew, that's how. And firewood and coffee and, making your quality of life a little better, understanding that life is a lot about mindset no matter what the situation you're in. It's in the mind. And I personally think gratitude has a lot to do with it. But on the flip side of gratitude, I also have a huge caveat for people. It's people get to choose what they're grateful for, and so I'm going to address some comments. Blair, it's going good. My mom is looking into homeschooling me because I'm getting more notice from my mom and sister. Well, just keep it up. I mean, whatever works for you and is a good learning environment for you, that's what's important, you know. Sylvan, hello, Amanda. I guess humidity is also a big issue in winter. It is. Oh my gosh, Sylvan, that is such the truth. Like what I did is I was so cold and I was like, okay, so I used to take those Mylar blanket things and I got this like adhesive spray. It was like professional cement grade adhesive, and I sprayed the top of the tent with it and like layered Mylar against the netting. And I found out that by doing that, you create a much warmer environment, but all your breathing collects on that and you wake up soaked. So you have to have some airing out of things, so that it's all a learning process. And I also learned because I went one time and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do, and I bought a thing of Flex Seal and I sprayed my tent with it thinking that that would help, and I found out that in the wintertime rubber cracks and that'll tear your part of your tent up. So the whole thing was just a huge learning process. CBT, no, that's the thing is, those emotions are always going to be there. And it doesn't hurt me to think about it. The tears are from, I don't know what the tears necessarily are from. I just know that I don't feel bad. I remember that time, and I remember the good times and I remember the bad times and I remember the in between times. And all of that has emotion associated with it. Kate, where do you get the army sleeping bags? I think she said army surplus, and I don't even know. I don't know if we have an army surplus here. I do know that Austin, he had gone to one or something, or maybe it wasn't that because he was saying something was really expensive. But anyhow, any other questions or anything? And if not, I'm gonna get off of here. I wish you guys the best. Again, if there's so many things to do to help. So many things to do to help. And we can all just make, a difference. Even if, none of us can do it all. It takes everybody doing a little bit. And that's how big, huge differences are made. So Karen, the stores, Army surplus stores. I see the garage sales have them. I think the Army has surplus, so we should give out. I mean, free. Nobody has to know about having enough money to pay for them. Yeah, we just need to get to the point where we understand that I just don't even know where people don't understand this. Like, for any being, period, end of story, to be healthy, they first need a healthy habitat. And we're not immune to that. Like, we are animals, we are beings, and we have to have a healthy habitat in order to thrive. And that's what we want for people. That's what we want for our communities. We want thriving, healthy communities. And the way we do that is by getting our people healthy. And by our people, I'm talking globally. So, anyhow, I wish you guys all well. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.